Hi, I'm Chris. I live in Frisco, Texas, USA, with my husband James and our 2 dogs. Today is July 4th. Happy Independence Day. We just recently finished hosting our 5th exchange student, and because we have hosted several 5 foreign exchange students, I thought that in honor of Independence Day, I might talk about what, from a foreign exchange student's perspective, makes America great. What do they think is good or great about America? What do they love about America? And so I think I know what some of those things are, but I also asked some of them to share with me what they thought makes America great. And I didn't plan far enough ahead, so I didn't get a chance to hear back from everybody. But I want to talk a little bit about, starting with our first exchange student, Tong, what I think he liked about America. He certainly liked the food. That's a common theme you're going to see about this, is the food. It's the variety of food and the quantity of food. Tong in particular enjoyed some fast food, and he enjoyed sweets, and he likes sushi. That's not an American thing, but the fact that you can kind of get it here with a lot of other things was a big bonus for him. So he also liked to sleep late. I knew there was a reason I liked that guy. James once took him to a Thai place here in Frisco, and he and the server were having a conversation about how hot to make it. Thai hot, which is really, really spicy. When the food came, James observed a tear rolling down Tong's eye, and he asked him if it had gotten too hot, and Tong said, "No, it just reminds me of the way my dad makes it." So even in the USA, we were able to find good Thai food for Tong while he was here. Student number 2 was Emil. And Emil certainly, he's a sports guy. He definitely likes sports. He played football at Independence High School. He likes girls. So American Girls, I think a shout out probably to American Girls. He loved barbecue, he loved hamburgers, and he loved steaks. American series too. We started watching Breaking Bad together. We didn't finish it, but we started watching Breaking Bad together. He was really into that. Exchange student number 3, Luca. From Germany. Luca is a vegetarian now, but he also loved the beef. He loved the hamburgers. He loved the steaks. He loved all of those things. Luca is a political person. He's very clued in as to what's going on in the world, so he was very much following the politics while he was here in 2018, and he enjoyed that. I enjoyed chatting about that with him, talking about politics and what his views were and what he thought about what was going on here at the time. He also liked some American series. He liked Game of Thrones. That was not the kind of genre that we were really into, but because he wanted to watch it, he wanted us to watch it specifically. So we watched Game of Thrones because of him. And we're glad we did. We really enjoyed it after all. And then I'm going to skip around a little bit. So as I mentioned in an earlier video, we talked to not just all of our previous exchange students, but we also keep up with some of their friends. So exchange students that our friends Brian and Randy have hosted, and then just some of the students that they met while they were here. And so I'll start with Jorge, who's from Spain, who lived with Brian and Randy the same year that Simon was here. And he told me specifically he likes iced tea. That's different for a European to enjoy iced tea, but I'm right there with you, Jorge. I love iced tea as well, especially with lime and mint. He also said he really loves a good crust on the top of macaroni and cheese. Don't we all? God bless America. And then he loves American memes of American politics. I think that's a really good one too. So, and his favorite, he said, on top of everything, is New York City. He loves New York. So I'm a native Texan. I love Texas, so I can't necessarily agree with that, but I certainly understand why you like New York City, and I'm glad that you got to go, and I hope you get to go back again. Next is Raphael. He was here. He lived with Brian and Randy the same year that Luca was here. Raphael's also from Germany. He had a long list, actually. So he says Costco on Sunday, because in Germany the shops are closed, so you can't go shopping on Sunday in Germany and in a lot of Europe. He said muscle cars. Suburban life. He loves the good weather in Texas. Okay. He likes the politeness of people. He thought that people were very friendly. And he said, of course, the wonderful people I met during my time here. I mean, come on, there's a lot of great people here. So he's free time in high school. I think that's interesting because the European students tend to have a much easier time at school in the U.S. than they do in Europe. They have to work a lot harder to keep up. The courses are more challenging. They go into a lot more detail. There's a lot more work that's in studying that's involved. And that's not really the case in the U.S. And the school system in Frisco, Texas is one of the best in the state. It's one of the best in the country. They still had plenty of free time and got good grades. So get together. Oh, at high school sports, Raphael also liked high school sports. Get-togethers with friends and family. I think we tended to do that a lot collectively. He said it just hits different than it does in Europe. Landscapes and the way everything is bigger. Of course, everything's bigger in Texas. But Raphael got to see more than just Texas too. So he said life just seems more easygoing. I think that's interesting. That might be, I bet that will cause some debate among some people in certain parts of Europe, but from Raphael's perspective, life here in the suburbs of Frisco was more easygoing. And he said, of course, so many food options. So there you go. And let's see. And Simon, I'm going to go back to our kids now. So Simon, he was here. He was a student number 4, and he said, he liked all the course options at high school. So when we enroll our students in school here, they have so many options to choose from. So Simon is an artist, and so he was able to have 3 different art classes. He could do painting, drawing, and sculpture. So he got to really explore that sort of thing. And now he is in university in Belgium. In an art university, a prestigious art university. So he said drawing and art classes, and then VASE, specifically got to travel with VASE, which is the Visual Art Scholastic event, and he really enjoyed that, and I got to go with him for part of that. He won an award. He drew some pretty amazing stuff that were entered into competitions, and he got significant recognition as a result of that. He got to travel down to San Marcos, meet a lot of other artistic students from across the state in San Marcos on a weekend event. That was a big highlight of his trip here. So he said traveling in general, the variety of places and people and landscapes that you have here in the U.S., and peanut butter pretzels. It always comes back to food somehow, doesn't it? Let's see. Now we'll go to Michael. Michael is our most recent exchange student, and he had quite the list. He had quite the list. There's a theme here. Let me see if you can pick up on it. Football, Florida, freedom, Frisco, Fireball, fried stuff, Merle, guns, Dallas Cowboys, and Texas. That's a pretty good list. So the real common theme here, and I thought about doing like a top 10, but it's pretty hard to drill it all down to a top 10. But I think number 3 probably overall is the European students that we are familiar with like our culture. They like American culture. They like our music, TV series, like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Simon liked a series called The Boys and Marvel movies. Number 2, food. It's really the variety and quantity of food, and in particular, I'm going to like for number 2, it's probably unlimited soda, free refills. That doesn't exist in Europe. If you want another Coke, you're going to pay for it. But in the U.S., the land of plenty when it comes to sugar water. You're welcome. And then number 1 is good old American beef, hamburgers and steaks, and plenty of them. Whether fast food or at specific sit-down hamburger joints like Kenny's. Kenny's Burger Joint in Frisco, Texas is always a favorite. Or whether it's a Whataburger or an In-N-Out, the hamburgers are always a big hit with our European students. So one of the things that we tell them, even sometimes before they arrive, is that they can expect that they're probably really going to enjoy hamburgers and steaks and beef here, because the cows are the meat tastes different here than it does in Europe, and especially in Britain, in the UK. My British friends, I'm sorry, I apologize. Every time I see advertisements for a burger or a steak on a trip over there, sometimes I get lured into it because I haven't had a good hamburger for a couple of weeks, and I fall for it. The advertisement in a pub, and I have one, and it just tastes terrible. But I will say, conversely, even though the beef in America tastes a lot better than in the UK or in Europe, European butter is a beautiful thing. So we got to give it to the Europeans on butter and dairy products in general. So you're welcome. So there you have it. That is what makes America great, or what Europeans love, our European exchange students, well, not just the Europeans, Tong, right? What our exchange students love about America. Some of those things might be up for debate, but that's the way they see it based on their experience here. Your mileage may vary. Some assembly required, batteries not included. That's it for now. Take care.